Hello there, and welcome to my second live Q&A for the Bliss Bomb. Today we're talking about meditation, all things meditation to do with the Bliss Bomb subscription in particular. And I am answering a question from one of my subscribers. She's very keen to establish a daily meditation practice, but is really struggling to stick to it. And I'm really, really fortunate to actually have her join me live. So let's just bring Roz in, and we're just going to have a gentle conversation about meditation and how we can establish a practice that supports us daily. So welcome, Roz. Thank you very much for agreeing to jump into the broadcast live with me. That's very exciting. So let's get down to it. Your question is,
how do you actually establish getting into a meditation daily? It can be just so hard.
Yes, indeed. So I've got a couple of questions for you. What have you actually tried so far to establish yourself?
Well, one of the things has actually been the subscription to what you offer. I do have another subscription to, and it's a little bit of a different format, but it does have a meditation component as part of it, and this is where I haven't accessed that for a little while as well. It's trying to remember to actually log into these locations to actually run the meditations at that regular, daily, at least weekly basis. I'd like it to be daily. So it's just that it's a self-discipline thing, I suppose, but it's just, and I do self-hypnosis and other things along that line that should make it damn easy, but it doesn't always.
No, absolutely. Yes, it's a bit like, the plumber fixing his own kitchen, isn't it? Yeah. So, okay, so you've taken the steps of getting yourself some subscriptions so that you've got the type of meditation that you like to work with handy. It's at your fingertips. So have you looked at different times of day that you would look at establishing your practice?
I'd ideally like it to be in the morning, and I suppose because that's when I'm fresh and aware, awake, energized to do it. And yet meditation of itself can be de-energizing because it puts you in that Zen space. Well, for me it does. I don't like to in the evening because I can be too sleepy and lazy, but too sleepy to really get the full benefit from it because there's that fear of falling asleep while I'm doing the meditation. And I actually want to have the full benefit of being in that conscious state, if you understand what I mean.
I do. Yes, I do indeed. So it sounds like you're very clear about what time of days are actually going to suit you the best, and you've chosen morning. So that's really one key step. The other thing I'd really like to get clear on is how much of a priority is this for you? So you speak of the benefits of meditation, and we all understand how powerful it can be, but how much of a priority is that for you?
I think since I have started doing my daily live streams that are for the purpose of a card spread reading that I do daily, I think it's that probably has been what has, transposed to being my meditation, because it's a regularity there of what is partly the process. I don't go into a deep meditation prior to that, though I'd like to, but I'm nearly always running out of time to get ready for and be live. So as you're aware, sometimes you get that pressure to turn up on time and haven't quite made that time. I suppose in that I don't do it as a great deal of pre-preparation, but it would be really nice if I could use a meditation that puts me in that space easier to be ready to do a really good reading,
Yeah. So it kind of sounds like it's angling for being slotted into your schedule just prior to doing your card reading. So it's really about for you making that decision about, I'm going to empower my card reading by actually being a really clear space to do the work and to have a clear, settled mind. But not only that, you know, the physiological benefits of going into a nice deep meditation will really boost the rest of your day as well. So perhaps acknowledging that it's actually going to boost the work that you've committed to already. So if you tie the commitment together, that's going to make a really big difference for you. So when you're scheduling your space, instead of just saying, well, I have to be available at 8:30 or whatever the time is, 8:30 in the morning, to push the go live button, I actually need to be 10 minutes earlier and do whether it's a 10-minute meditation or 20 minutes earlier for a 20-minute meditation, and really fix that into your mind. So, I mean, Deepak Chopra talks about we never forget to clean our teeth. We know every day we have to clean our teeth for oral hygiene and for all the other effects within the body of having good oral hygiene. We clean our teeth every day. We don't forget to do it. We wouldn't be walking out the door without cleaning your teeth. So if we can elevate meditation to that sort of priority, understanding how it supports ourselves, then we just click it into the schedule and we do it. So some of the things that you can do to help you is, you know, you've got your subscriptions, is perhaps the night before you prime the one that you want to work with the next day, so that all you have to do is step into your space, click the button, and away you go, rather than actually spend time going, not sure which one I want to work with today, and taking time with that. That's one thing you could do. I can see you've got something you'd like to say there.
Oh, no, one of the notifications just popped up and I thought, hopefully you didn't hear it. And now, of course, because I've noticed it, element of surprise. I thought I'd turn things off. I do like, because you've actually got the different lengths of time with your meditations that you've got in the subscription space too, haven't you?
I do,
so
yes.
It certainly would be something that would fit in done that way, to have I think there's a 10-minute one in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yes. Yeah. Oh, it's just the cogs are going. I'm identifying with it, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the really big hidden obstacles with embarking on meditation is actually understanding that what you're doing is making a commitment to spare time for yourself. And often we don't do that. So often meditation is the easiest one to drop because it's quite a passive. Oh, hello, Michelle. Sorry, I'll just interrupt my own sentence. Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for joining. I'm glad you're enjoying the different length of meditations. I'll get to that point shortly. But just acknowledging that when you are establishing a new habit to support, you know, a positive pattern within yourself, that you're doing something really powerful for yourself. And for many busy women, we often put ourselves last, and the thing that we desperately need gets dropped off first. So just acknowledging that what you're actually doing is something really powerful for you, and honouring yourself enough to commit that time to yourself.
I think it's also to reinforce your own boundaries around what you're going to let interrupt that honouring yourself as well.
Exactly. So if it's your top priority, those boundaries are really strong. So maybe having a check-in with your own priorities and seeing where you yourself personally actually sit on your priority list. Because without you, everything else is just chaff on the wind, really, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
So I'd invite you to go through that process and just check in with yourself about self-priority. Where do I actually sit?
Yeah.
And do I want to change it?
It does make a little bit of difference sometimes too, the fact, I suppose, you know, living mostly as a single person, you can let some of that sort of priority slide because it's just so easy to rearrange things to suit a different pattern. Not always a good thing.
Yeah. So, what you can do is maybe look at things that you already do, that you do religiously every day on a daily basis, that you can perhaps piggyback your meditation practice on. So we've discussed, maybe linking it to your daily broadcast and putting in extra padding so that you can do that. But perhaps there's something else within your getting ready for the day routine where it would, if you sandwiched it in between stuff or popped it in beforehand, that you would just get into a habit. You'd be building the habit of doing, go to clean my teeth, I go and do my meditation, then I turn the camera on or something like that. Yeah.
How long would you say that it actually takes to create that habit on average?
Ooh, on average, I guess it really depends on how committed you are. That's beautiful music.
It's my iPad and I've got 3 different devices all trigger at once. Sorry about that. Oops.
That's quite okay. Quite okay. I guess it depends how committed you are to the decision, to making the decision to do it. And really, even on the days when you don't feel motivated or you're just taking an extra cup of tea or something, to say, okay, no, really, I'm honouring myself today. I've chosen to make this habit. I have to do it. So, how long is a piece of string? How long does it take to establish these habits? If you can sit with it and do it daily for at least 21 days and make that your first commitment, then you're well on your way to having it established as a daily habit.
Yeah. I mean, even thinking of how long it took me to actually create the habit of doing the live stream that I do and it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I tried changing that once and it just didn't work out with what the audience were wanting. So it's interesting. I didn't think about it as in I need to continue it at this, to create the habit. It was just that I enjoyed doing what I was doing, and it just started being, I love doing this and keep doing it. So I suppose that that would be what I'm actually creating for the meditation as well, being part of that daily routine. That's not just because I feel I have to, but because I actually grow to love doing that, having that space for self.
Absolutely. And that's, that's the really tricky thing with meditation. It does take a little bit of time for you to really experience that cumulative effect of being in a beautiful meditative space. So, it's kind of a catch-22. You have to do it for a while and do it regularly and on a daily basis is the best way to do it, to really experience the benefits of it. And when you do experience the benefits of it, you really miss it when you don't do it. Now, I'm the first one to put my hand up and say, look, I meditate daily, but there are some days that I don't actually get it done. But that's okay. I get back on the horse the very next day. So the gaps between not meditating get a lot shorter. So it might only be one day that you missed rather than a week or 3 weeks or whatever it might be. And the days that you meditate consecutively grow longer because you really notice the difference when you don't do it. Yeah. So
I do
it's one
notice,
of those things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do notice I don't set an actual timing of it because, some days I probably would sit with a half hour, and that's very infrequently because I start yawning too quick. Past that 10-minute, that's where I find my ideal time is between the 5 and the 10-minute length. That's why I love that you've got that length of option there. Any longer, but I suppose that also is just going to be more of that habit that forms into you're just not aware of time and you realise you're doing longer and longer.
Yeah, I think, because it's such a trick. All we're doing is sitting still. And because we think all we're doing is sitting still, it's an easy thing to do. we get very hard on ourselves when we actually sit down and discover that meditation is actually an acquired skill, and it does take time to build up what I call meditation muscle, the ability to be able to sit in quiet with yourself for 5, 10, 20 minutes at a time. So that's part of the reason why I do offer those different timings, is because when you're starting out, setting yourself a 5-minute meditation is achievable. It's something that is much more achievable than starting out to try and do a 20-minute meditation. It's a bit like building up for a marathon. You wouldn't set out and do a 40K run your very first day out, but you might be good at doing perhaps 500 meters of running and then walking for the rest and do a kilometre on your first day. So it's a similar kind of approach, just to ease in gently, get familiar with your own self and with what's going on with your body. So a lot of people are so restless, they don't want to sit still. They find the actual thought of sitting still in itself the problem. So, yeah. So
yes,
I do
that's
have
the
a
other part.
yeah, I do have a quick question for you. Within the subscription, and because you're a founding member, I've actually given access to the founding members for the little course I've got in there about how to get started with meditation. Have you had a chance to have a quick look?
No, not yet. No, I haven't yet, but I certainly will. Knowing that and having the reminder, yes, I shall.
Yeah, so I just invite you to have a look, because I actually go through what you can do to set yourself up for success from the very start, how to establish some boundaries and negotiate, if you do have people who kind of crunch into your times and your spaces and stuff, how to negotiate with them and just establish a really clear space for you. And then how to look at having that conversation with yourself about actually making yourself the priority, so that when you do set time aside for you, you're happy to do it. You don't feel like I should be doing something else. That word should, we need to get rid of it from our dictionary. Yes. So, yeah, and I see I see there's a couple of comments there. So hello and welcome to Megan, who's joined us. Thank you very much. And Michelle's saying that, yes, the benefits that are derived rather than the action, in other words, the result. Yeah, so it's the result we're after, not the actual process. But having said that, the results are actually in the process too. So being able to actually move through the layers of meditation, that's beneficial in itself, as well as the cumulative outcome.
Yes.
So... Oh, yes, and Megan's saying that she is trying to get back on the horse as she has years of knowing its benefits. Practice is really important. Yeah, yes, it is.
Yeah.
So let me just check. I had a couple of notes here. Okay, I think we've actually covered off most of the things that kind of popped into my head when I first saw your question. How do you feel with the information you've received so far?
I think it covers very well what someone who probably hasn't even gotten into the practice of doing meditation and spending time with self. I think it covers it very nicely. Well, gently, I suppose, is probably the word that I'd use. I have to admit that I haven't been in the last couple of weeks. Because other stuff has sort of got it. Well, since I started a part-time job that I'm now not doing, so there was a lot of things dropped at that point in time. So that probably is a month now, and I'm gradually, slowly getting back into some of those things that I had going before then. I like what you're presenting there. I think it really does feel nice and nurturing and gentle. So it's certainly well worth, for a beginner especially, but even for someone who's been doing a practice for a long time. It's a great resource. Yeah.
Great. Fantastic. Really pleased to hear that. And I'd just like to say hello to Pauline, who's joined us. Thank you very much. Lovely to see you here. So you said something there about you had a part-time job and you finished up with that now. So just remember that introduces quite a change to your routine. So
it did.
so just be mindful of the fact that we have these things that do come in and affect our routine. They do affect our schedule. And, don't beat yourself up for not meditating, because that was a massive change that obviously there wasn't enough time for you to make adjustment to it. And now that it's no longer there, you can adjust back to your more familiar routine. But, these are things to be mindful of, when we go traveling, when we are on holidays, when we have people coming to stay. What are we going to do with our meditation routine? Where is that going to fit into the picture? So being a little bit pre-planned with your meditation, just as you would if you're perhaps a member of a gym and go to the gym regularly. How do you manage your time to go to that and be available for visitors and all of that sort of thing? So hold meditation in the same space, even though it's something that you do for yourself at the time that suits you, in the space that suits you. Have the awareness to adapt meditation to your routine when your routine needs to change too. Yeah, really build it in as something.
Yes, 100% agree. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to check if anybody who's watching in has any questions. It doesn't necessarily need to be about how to stick at daily meditation. It could just be a general question. We still have a few minutes left, so if there are any other questions, pop them in and I'll do my best to answer them. And so Roz, I offer guided meditation because I find that's often a really good starting point for people who are getting into meditation. Oh, yeah. Megan, you must be reading my mind.
Good question. Yes.
Which I can actually show has just come up.
Yeah, you can.
Do you always recommend? Well, as I was saying, I do recommend guided meditation for those people who are just starting or perhaps coming back into their practice after some time away, just because it does provide that really nice point of focus. And because there's a bit of a story or narrative to it, when you do find yourself caught up in your thoughts, it's kind of easier to get pulled back into the meditation at whatever point you make that realization you've been caught into your thoughts, and then come back to wherever the meditation is. That's one of the reasons why I do recommend guided meditation as a starting point. But there are a number of different types of meditation, and it's really worth exploring and trying what those different types are, because you might find that something else works better for you. And also, they do provide different immediate benefits. So the overall cumulative effect of meditation is pretty much the same baseline, but some different types do provide different immediate responses. So, mindfulness and watching the breath and that sort of thing are really powerful for stress management and reducing anxiety and those sorts of things. Whereas guided meditation might take you more into, particularly the type of work I do, takes you more on an inner journey of connection and healing. So depending on the immediate outcome you're looking for, would kind of indicate the different types of meditation for you to try. So great question, Megan. Thank you.
I have also found for myself, since I've done the sound therapy training, that doing either a chanty type of a mantra as part of my meditation. I did practice that for quite a while. Haven't done it for, lately, but it is something that I found, even though it's not a guided, it's still guiding yourself for that focus.
Absolutely.
And I found that's really good toning, or just a very short phrase works wonderfully.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mantra.
Mantra
It's got a
meditation.
style. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's the same concept of providing that point of focus for you. So when you are distracted by the thoughts, you have something to come back to, and it will guide you into that place of connection with greater consciousness, which is really, really potent. This is the place where the best healing happens, and where you'll find your restoration supercharged. And Megan is saying that she loves chants. Great idea, Roz. Combining both or alternating would be good. Absolutely. Yep. And just knowing, having an intention. What is it I want to achieve from meditation today? Sometimes it can be as simple as resting in the space. And sometimes it can be, I have a particular thorny issue. I'm just going to sit with that and see what answer comes up. So, yeah, great questions coming through. Love it. So we've still got a few more minutes if there are any other questions. Ros, I really thank you for jumping in live today. It's great to actually have the conversation as a dialogue rather than reading comments.
No, thanks for asking. I just happened to be around.
Yeah, no, that worked out very well.
Yeah, look, yeah, thank you. And certainly what you're offering is great. It really is a really good tool, having the membership and the meditations in there. It's monthly, isn't it? I'm just trying to think, yes. So, well worth it. So thank you very much for starting it off, because it's certainly a tool I needed. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping to have meditation available to as many people as possible, because of the individual benefits are so powerful. Then if we want to expand the field a little bit, we can look at the effect that we're having, the ripple effect that we're having at the collective conscious level. So the more people meditating, the better the collective consciousness response, particularly in this COVID environment, the better our response is to managing these things. So, thank you. Thank you, Megan. You're awesome. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle is a founding member, and she has actually told me on a few occasions how much benefit she's getting. So thank you, Michelle, for your support and for being here today. And I'm really thrilled that you're getting great value. Excellent. Okay, well, we might wrap it up if there are no other questions. I thank you again, Roz. It's been wonderful. And maybe you can just give yourself a quick shout out about your card readings. When do they happen?
They're actually every morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, South Australian Northern Territory time. So you just think right in the centre of Australia. Everything hangs off us each side. So it's 8 o'clock, and I do host them through the mytimetv.live, but I do cross-post to my own page that's called Ros Boundy, the Hypnosis Plus with Ros as a page, and YouTube, because the platform I use is BeLive TV, and it can simulcast. Now, StreamYard does the same. It can simulcast. I mean, the technology that we have, why wouldn't you take it?
Exactly. Roz, I'd like to invite you. I've just tried to type your details into the comments, but here's my technology shortcut. I had to put my keyboard to plug my microphone in. So,
and I'm trying to think now, I'm trying to find my Facebook page, and I can just pop that link in as far as my page goes, which isn't coming up, of course, because when you're in a hurry, things like that just don't flow very well, do they? Sometimes.
So,
but I will put that there in the comments.
So, that's wonderful. So, if you can pop back through perhaps and pop it in the comments, and we're finished, that would be awesome. So, what sort of card readings do you do just before we?
Well, the card readings that I actually do, I've just managed to pop that in there now. A general card spread. I've been using pretty much the same card spread. It's a 5-card spread that covers work, home, an unexpected field, your own role, responsibility, and an outcome. So it's fairly broad, but it's just a general card reading that I use my intuition to read the cards, and I'm using a Lenormand deck as opposed to a tarot or oracle. It's the deck I really love the artwork for, so I'm connecting with it better. And I really like people to discover for themselves what their own messages are. What they're receiving as I'm reading what is my interpretation. So it's general, but I've had lots of feedback at how it means something to people at that point in time for their day, and wow, pretty much spot on. So I think it's having an open mind to what we receive from our own guidance that we need to be able to be open to it. And that's why I like the idea, getting into having my meditation before I get into that, in the morning. So yeah, having that connection happening, on that spiritual level. But Lovely. We are a complete thing of body, mind, soul, aren't we? So
yeah. So I am certainly going to check that one out. That I like all the different areas that you're covering. So I'm going to tune in and check it out. I might even meditated beforehand.
I'll put that intention for tomorrow morning.
Lovely. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And I do invite everybody who's tuned in today to check out Roz's card reading. And I'd love to know how it goes for you. It'd be really interesting. I'm certainly going to check it out. So thanks very much. Wonderful to see you. I'm just going to sign us out now, and I'll catch you for the next one. Thank you, everybody, for joining me, and Roz in particular. And if you have questions about the Bliss Bomb, you can always connect with me either by email or message, or you can sign up to do an in-live conversation with me every month. Or if you prefer to just pop comments in, that's always good. Linda Emsley from Love Lali. This has been a meditation question answered. And I look forward to talking to you all again soon. Bye for now.